Okay, do you have the name to the other party also?
Okay, the other party is E.1, and you can usually reach her via the Clovis County Sheriff's Office. They're part-time dispatcher.
Okay, you're with the other party now?
Right, so I can talk to them?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Hello?
Good evening, or good morning, I should say.
Yeah, I'm very sorry to have to bother you.
No problem at all. We'd like to hear about what you saw.
Well, I never used to believe in it, but I do now. Around 1 o'clock, the power went off. And I have power running from my shop to my house, and I figured maybe it blew a fuse in there. I've been watching television. And I went outside, very dark, no lights anywhere, and had this funny feeling like static electricity around me or something. I don't know. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I looked up behind the barn, which is right behind my house. Giant object like an upside down cup was just there, hovering, not making a sound, but weird looking lights. And I ran back in the house to get my wife, and it was already about like 5-10 miles away. And I was coming back this time with 3 giant beams on the ground, lighting up the whole surface of the ground. And my neighbor has a crop dusting outfit behind my field, and it lit their house up. And it was shining these weird lights out, like spotlights. They wasn't going out too far, but they were far apart. And it would come right for the house again, so I grabbed my kids out of bed, and we ran to the car and got in the pickup. The damn thing followed us until we got to the cemetery. And I had to hit my brake lights, because I was driving the lights, to get over the hump. And when I did that, it took off like a flash off to the right and went off towards the Sacramento area. And there was more than one, but I didn't have a chance to look at the other one. This one's too damn close, you know.
Yes.
But it was hanging over the barn, and it had this funny electricity stuff bothering you. I mean, it's like you get a tingle, you know.
You could feel that in your body then?
All the way through.
Okay.
And I'm still shaking.
Okay, now going back to when you first saw this, how close to the ground was it?
He was about 50 feet from the barn. He was right above the barn.
And how far away from you would you say?
Well, I would say within 100 feet from my house to the barn.
100 feet, okay. And it was shaped like an upside down cup?
Right.
Is that all you could see? Now, could you see?
I couldn't see above it because at that point, it was too many weird looking lights drawing your attention. I just couldn't take time to look at the whole thing. It just scared me, you know. But I did look at it for a good 2 minutes. I mean, I stood there, I was froze. And it doesn't make a sound.
Okay, could you see a surface?
Yes, when it took off, it looks like an upside down. Well, I hate to say this, but you know the movie they have on TV called The Invaders?
Yes.
Okay, it looks identical to that.
Okay, was there any openings?
I can't see. There's too much bright light.
Too much light, too much cycling.
Light.
Okay, right,
Not the
okay.
neon color.
Right, now into
His car
town?
would be right along the side of us, within about 100 yards from us, and I made the turn on main road and get it towards town as fast as I could with no light. It was right there, and I was getting pretty panicked. And when I hit the railroad track, there's quite a low bump over it, and I put the brakes, and the brake light came on bright red, and I figured, oh, Christ, it's really going to fight us now, you know. And it took off behind us on the right of us, and took off towards the Sacramento area, and it just went all that way so fast, you can't believe it.
Did it change in appearance at all when it took off at high rate of speed?
It can make any turns it wants.
I mean, did the glow around it increase?
It turns soft blue, I mean, kind of a purplish blue.
When it took off?
When it takes off.
Okay. Now, during this whole experience, at no time you saw any kind of a surface, right?
It's just an outline of a shadow, you know.
Okay.
Like I say, I seen a good look of it there in the barn.
Right.
But the underneath got some weird looking things on it. That's what startled me.
Did it have any colored lights on it?
Yes. It's kind of a frosty light. You know, it's not they're just like a neon light.
Right.
There's a series of little teeny things that go through the light, like little neon tubes.
Did any member of your family have this feeling also?
No, I woke him out of sound sleep.
Okay, then the only time you had this tingling sensation would be outside, okay.
But it looked like to me it was drawing electricity out of the power poles or something, because it had these beams on these transformers.
Okay, now were these just high voltage lines or were they the large transmission lines?
Well, see, we have irrigation pumps on the canal.
Oh, yes.
And they're quite, I don't know how many voltage, but they're quite a bit. And they're big, huge transformers, so I don't know if it was just looking at them or if it's drawing energy from them. It looked like to me it's drawing something from them.
Okay. Now, how big was this object? Any estimates?
No, big part.
How large was the object?
I don't want to, I hate to guess.
Could you compare it with...
It was as big as around as my whole barn. And the barn is pretty old, but it covered the whole top of it. And the barn is probably like 75 by maybe 50. And it goes up pretty tall.
Okay. Do you have any livestock on the farm?
No, I just got two animals, cat and dog, chop.
Okay. Can we have your name, sir?
Bill Baker. B-E-C-H-A. It's actually Billy Benson. But I don't like Billy Troy.
And your wife saw this?
My wife seen it right out the window.
And what was your wife's first name?
Linda Pakey.
And your children saw it?
My children seen the light, but they were scared in the sleep.
Okay.
Woke them out.
All right. Did the police department get any additional reports on that?
Yes. I called my neighbors because I was very worried about them when I got to town because they had this huge light over their house. And they own the airport. And I called her and she said that they were asleep. They didn't hear anything or nothing. I told her it didn't make a sound. And I didn't want to tell her that I was waking her up and scaring her. And she said she kind of believes in it too, but she would keep an eye out.
Okay. How long did the power outage last?
I'd say within about, well, I can't tell you everything going on, but I didn't want to stay in the dark. I didn't want to be seen. I think about maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes.
And this covered the whole county?
It did, and everything was black around. I didn't know until he told me that the whole county was knocked down.
You said that there was more than one object.
Yes, there were three. I'm pretty sure there were three, because there was the other two things going away, and then coming towards us. That's when I figured, holy hell, it's going to break loose. I'm just swearing sick after it was there once, and think, well, it's going to come back and get it.
Okay, now these other two, were they similar to the one by the barn?
See, they just had lights. They looked like two small ones.
Okay, what color were the lights on those?
They were neon light.
Same.
Only they didn't have anything under them. I couldn't see. They looked like smaller.
I see, okay.
But they went way fast. But they don't make no noise. I can't see why a machine that big can't at least make nothing. above the fog. There's he's a good source and was in control of his faculties. At the time, I've been unable to locate any, I was going to call them a core, but there were no jet aircraft out in Portland last night. They were fogged in. So I've been unable to locate any source of the 4 military jet aircraft, which he said were up there for an hour and a half last night.
watched from 8 to 8:45. I saw the object, but then I stayed and watched for, until well after 9 o'clock. I continued to watch the airplane, and everything quieted down. At one point, I counted, but I thought there were a lot of stars out that night. I live up in a fairly high elevation. It was quite foggy, but it was extremely clear. And there were a lot of stars out. At one point, it looked like a light show going on.
Yes.
With many aircraft going. But I counted what I think was 4 jets at one time. Do you have an 800 number there with you, Dan?
No, we don't, unfortunately.
I was thinking that somebody around did have, but I think there's one in the southwest.
There's one in Illinois, but it's confined to police use only. It's not available to the public. We're the only public center of its kind in the country.
Yeah, this is the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. I've never flown a lot. That's the first time I'd ever seen it, and I don't think it would even have interested me. I would have passed it off as a meteor or something if I had not seen the aircraft, which I felt to be in pursuit of it.
Okay, now, was this object you saw come out of the northwest that was maintaining this circular pattern as it was moving through the sky? I mean, was it circling as it was moving, or did it just maintain a constant?
Oh, hey there.
It maintained pretty much a constant pattern.
No.
I at first thought it was very, very foggy that night. I thought that somebody was trying to find a way to put down or something.
Spook producer Pat here. We're doing a solo show tonight. Testing out some new equipment too. Hopefully everything looks good.
Moving around it, and I started to get my interest
We're
up.
slowly trying out some music.
They definitely stayed around.
Hopefully starting by next week we'll be back on.
Okay, well, we appreciate this information, and if we come up with anything regarding the
Shut up. Hopefully this time, about next week, we'll be getting back into regular shows. But for now, I'm just going to play some music and then enjoy myself a little bit. And hopefully some of this fancy new audio-video equipment here works out for us. So it'll be a little bit more ambient. I'm not the biggest, I don't have the highest energy right now. But hope you enjoy.
What was it, 75 million? Is that the number that we've given to Ukraine? It's cash for limousines and mansions in Switzerland and things. We're very generous people, stupid, but generous. A nearly 10% boost in defense spending.
must have been between 150 and 200 feet above the ground.
Okay.
So it was moving pretty much in an area of the old 99 highway, which goes between Medford and there's another highway, I-5, which goes through the valley also, but it's further away from our house.
Okay, do you have any estimate on the distance from you?
Yeah, I'd say a mile and a half.
Okay. Did you observe this from out of doors at any time?
No, I didn't. I was out of doors afterwards when I was on my way to work, and I looked down there, and it just wasn't visible at that time.
Okay.
But usually the sound carries, I mean, if this had an engine on it or anything, we would have heard it. But as far as I know this morning, I work in a fairly large company here, and I'll just around a little bit, and nobody, and people who even live down there didn't hear anything on it.
Okay, how did this object disappear?
Just in the haze.
Just moved out. Okay.
It didn't speed up and leave the scene or anything that I know of.
Right. About how long did you watch that?
I would say we were in contact with it for a good 5 minutes anyway.
And you feel that the object was definitely solid?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I looked at first for things like a shadow or something else that would make that shape on the surface at the top of the cloud. But it didn't have that quality of being a shadow. It changed in its tonality from being very light to coming out of the fog and being relatively dark.
Okay.
And there was no sunshine falling directly on the cloud anyway, so there couldn't have been shadow.
Right. And how many witnesses on that?
Including myself, 4.
And you got our number from Medford Tower?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I checked here to find out. I know the fellow here in the flying service, and I thought practicing instruments, but not at that
Years.
He said nothing was in the air. The tower, of course, the radar here is about 6,000 feet. I don't think they can pick up anything down.
Okay, we'll get on this, and if we come up with any more information on it, well, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Yeah, I'd like to know if what I saw is a general description of what is reported as being seen.
Uh-huh.
Is it?
Yes, I would say that it is. I just from your description, I would kind of picture something oval-shaped,
Yeah.
seeing that you would describe something like a football flattened.
Slightly pointed in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not completely a disc.
Right.
Or not an ellipse. Very strange. And proceeding rather leisurely. That's what amazed me. It's like at first it was like a Goodyear blimp coming out of the fog. It's about that fast. But it was moving much more athletically than a blimp would. A blimp would just, kind of hover there and move very sluggishly.
Right.
This thing moved almost like a fish would move that were swimming in a pool.
You say that it was definitely under intelligent control.
Well, I don't know, I mean, yes, I would guess so. Some kind of control. It's actually staying within the boundary of the fog. I never seem to want to get out of it.
All right, sir, we'll see what we can do about this.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
I am Secretary of the Southern Idaho Astronomical Association, and we have a formidable group here. Dozen telescopes or better.
Yes.
Ranging from 4 to 8 inches. And I heard about your particular group and so on and so forth, and if possible, we'd like to help or assist in any way that we can. Now, if you have anything that perhaps we could, investigate or check out or whatever, we'd be happy to do so. We have, a network, and so we can phone everybody up and get some telescopes trained on it, and so on and so forth. If that would help you in any way, or seems like it would assist you or whatever. We've
last summer, I don't know whether you know about it or not, but we had a rash of UFO sightings.
Yes.
And we checked them out, and they were what we thought they were. The planets were in close proximity and so on and so forth. But we, at that time, decided it would be advantageous to set up, some type of network where we could get some observations done on these reports, because most people in the area know it, and the news media and so on and so forth. And so they would phone us and say, what do you know about it? So we said, well, I thought we're supposed to know things about that. Maybe we better set something up.
Right.
And our director is quite interested in such phenomena. So we decided that
What so hard to build?
see what we could do.
And request you're free, bro.
Okay, any sightings or
20.
in our way or something in our area. She can get to us. There are several telescopes.
Steps you need to take it.
Sometimes it's a matter of walking out and covering and looking at others. Now our membership ranges from Rupert, well, beyond Rupert actually. Okay, we have several dozen members dispersed about the area. Being raw managed is not a popular pastime in the hobby, but people, weird people like ourselves, tend to congregate together or whatever.
Right.
But we have a monthly meeting, the first Saturday of each month. Anyone that you know would be interested in attending our meetings or whatever, that would be fine. See what we're doing and so forth.
Okay. Well, we'll be in contact then.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye.
We created the original Untucked shirt for this to look sharp but
Trending?
missing it. What are you talking about? I don't know. Why don't you let him talk? Well, there's a unification that's more than just me, and if I'm not awake to the moment, I'm going to miss it. You know, and to the moment, I'm going to miss it. You know, and to the moment, I'm going to miss it. You know, and to the moment, I'm going to miss it. You know, and missing it. What are you talking about? I don't know.
And there's a unification that's more than just me, and if I'm not awake to the moment, I'm going to miss it, you know, and people talking while the music is going on, you know, things distracting themselves. It's like, wait, you're missing it. How do you know they're missing it? What are you doing missing it? I don't know. Why don't you let them talk? Well, there's a unification that's more than just me, and if I'm not awake to the moment, I'm going to miss it, you know, and people talking while the music is going on, and things distracting themselves. It's like, wait, you're missing it. What are you doing? Missing it? How do I know? Why don't you let them talk? And there's a unification that's more than just me, and if I'm not awake to the moment, I'm going to miss it, you know, and people talking while the music is going on, or you know, things distracting themselves. It's like, wait, you're missing it. How do you know they're missing it? What are you talking about missing it? How do you know they're missing it? What are you talking about missing it? How do you know they're missing it?
On radar at Stapleton, and they can't identify him.
Do you have any witnesses on this?
Witnesses? Anybody on the shift of security police here at Laurie.
Okay, fine. And about what time was that?
Okay, they're still up there. They're going out, but they're still up there.
Okay.
They were up on radar at... Are you established with Zulu time?
Yes.
Okay, at approximately 12:30 Zulu.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Goodbye. Bye. Senator?
Yes, I was just here reading a newspaper. I live in Simi Valley.
Yes.
And I was reading about this UFO object that occurred in the sky.
Yes.
And I didn't pay much attention to it at the time. I think it was last Wednesday. The day they had this supposed to be cloud in the sky, it looked like a UFO. And I leave home real early in the morning. I leave home about 4:30 in the morning.
Right.
And I drive over the freeway into San Fernando.
Right.
And I had a hell of a time trying to get my radio to stay on the music that was playing. And this particular object that I was looking at, that as I was driving into San Fernando, it had all types of colors on it. It was like a flying ship to me. But I could get the wave sound back like a beep sound through my radio. And I could have that all the way to work at the particular point.
This was coming in quite clear.
This is coming in right clear.
Okay, was this shoving the other reception right out?
It was just shoving right out.
Okay, now did this object have a defined shape?
Yes. It had a shape of a shape of an egg, like, you know,
Okay.
egg shape. And I don't know if you know this. You know where? I don't know if you know where this Rocketdyne Test Center is up in
Yes.
the valley.
Yes.
When as I got almost into that particular area, this emanating sound that I had, it just took over the radio. And it was just like a big sound.
Uh-huh.
Just after passing the railroad, it got a little weaker though. But from what I could see, it looked like it was just like something would beam in this direction towards that hill.
Okay, now how far was the object from there?
Oh, that object was way over into, I would say that object was way out into, I guess you would say that Glendale Mountain out there.
Okay.
Way over. I guess that's beyond Burbank out there. Like it's headed towards back Pasadena, I guess.
Now, would that be over that CD or Civilian Defense Center by any chance?
Right.
Right on top of the hill there, they got a very large radio center.
Right. Right.
Be right in that area?
It looked like it was way behind that area.
Okay. And this was Friday?
No, it wasn't Friday. I think it was either Wednesday morning or Thursday morning.
Okay.
It was the next day. It was the day before. Timmy had some pictures and things about the station.
Oh, okay. About what time?
Well, this was about 4:05. 4:30.
About, how long was that in view now when you were watching it?
Until I got down.
It's a big administration that he's KHD. West now.
Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it. Last night I had another dream, vision, whatever the devil you want to call it.
Excuse me. Was nice to be there.
We don't have any like installation scheduled, and I haven't. It doesn't sound like you want to pay for an install, or.
The AT&T's not really right to price stuff. Well, I should cancel AT&T server. I should cancel AT&T right now. And then deal with these stuff. I was trying to keep AT&T servers over that.
I really don't know what you should do there. I think probably you ought to just call us back once you decided on what you want to do, because we can just put this order on hold. But I mean,
Nothing connected when I go with you. I thought I'd make a switch over. I'd be getting a break. You're telling me I might as well have AT&T fully disconnected before I come deal with you. It's going to take a full day of me being there.
Yeah, it is a 2-hour installation, and you might have to be, someone over 18 would have to be there if you were to do the installation. That's up to you.
All right, AT&T cancel tonight.
You know, I would do whatever you think is the best there, and just let us know if you'd like to continue the order there.
I continue the order for one rush, and I'm going to cancel AT&T tonight, so Universal Line can't hook up now, so that I got to do either if there's an overlap. And I will tell you that it's because my telephone is tip and ring to AT&T phone. My telephone is not to Universal.
Okay, yeah, I'm not certain. I mean, I think you probably ought to let us know if you're going to cancel AT&T. That would probably involve us some way or another, or at least change the order a little bit. So maybe, after you've dealt with canceling AT&T, you can give us a ring and we can continue from there. I'm not certain what the best course of action would be there, we can surely, put in the order again as a new order and just let you know, what install times we have available and once we get a due date on it. The option there is to just, I just need it to be clear though. Do you want us to place a new order? And
Yes, I'm desperate.
sure, look, I can't deal with this much emotion right now. Like this is, I don't feel like that this is starting off on the right foot here. Maybe you could just give us a ring back once you calm down a little bit there.
Okay, goodbye.
there. Nothing.
Discharges from a god like a dollar bills an hour looking at me. Discharges from a god like a dollar bills an hour looking at me. Discharges from a god like a dollar bills an hour looking at me. Discharges from a god like a dollar bills an hour looking at me. Discharges from a god like a dollar bills an hour looking at me. Discharges from a god like a dollar bills an hour looking
Phenomena that I
at me.
reported to
Discharges from a god like a dollar bills an hour looking at me. Discharges from a god like a dollar bills an hour
circle,
looking at me.
inner portion that was left standing.
Discharges from a god like a dollar bills an hour looking at me.
From that edge outward, growth progressively. There was no growth right next to new grass growth right next to the perimeter, the inner core, but the growth of grass constantly got higher away from that inner cut. The 10 feet out, it's just if you took a slant line there, you can see the new grass going up higher and higher until it finally got to the edge. Now, when I saw it yesterday, I took a picture of it yesterday because Doherty asked me to get some grass in different places, which I have a plot marked out where I picked this grass up, and they're all, I got 3 grasses in each plot, 5 different positions, 1 in the center, 3 on the going out to the 10-foot swath, and 1 on the outside of it. He said they have a botanist who would like to run some checks on it. So I'm sending that down to him tomorrow. But in between times of working at the Duck Lake, I went down to the Wayside Tavern and had a Clovis beer. And the fellow that came in at the local station down there on the highway next to the dike. This, by the way, is just on the county line between Multnomah County and Columbia County. I see. And he told me that a fellow by name, he talked an awful lot about observations he's been seeing. Now, I looked him up, and it took a little while to get him to talk, confidence, because everybody looks at him like he's crazy. But he tells me that he has practically nightly observations there right now. He saw what he thought was a phenomenon last night, the revolving red light standing still. And he got on his TV and he talked from Scappoose to Woodland, Washington, to another CBer. And they both were on the CB and observed the same object. They had a triangulation. I don't know who the guy was in Washington. But both he and his wife had seen him, both his wife and he had seen him separately, and also the youth. Their boy was about 24, 25. And what I was interested in is, had anybody seen anything down there where our hovering was? And of course, this is the only thing I can dig up. But he says that you can come over there almost any night and see him. Matter of fact, he can ride me back tonight and take a look if I wanted to. Now, are these moving objects? Yes, he's run the whole gauntlet. He's got the one where the tube comes down, and he says it retracts. When they turn that light off, the light too. He says when they turn it off, he says you see it retract into the opposite. And he's also got the one about big enough that he's seen 10 of them lodging. They go out, and some of them fly back in to fly back out. Count as many as 10 as come out. And then he's got the wind glass, you see him in his clothes, given us everything he told me, what has always been reported. Interesting about this profile, there's the light that went down. He claims it went down into the river, Columbia River, or thereabouts. But he said they actually see the light being retracted. It's just like a tube.
That's quite common.
It's being retracted. But anyway, they're having a hustle bustle down in that area, so I stopped at, when I was in Scappoose, I went on into St. Helens, went into the county sheriff's office, and asked one of the deputy sheriffs a direct question. Any UFO been reported? He says no, and I said thank you, and I walked out. So I stopped at the state police, And I asked the girls there in the office, they said, no, nothing has been reported. And I was telling them about my grass situation. Of course, I'm interested in the fact that if something's going to be around there, am I going to have any ducks to shoot at this year?
Yes.
And they said nothing had been reported. But they pulled out a card out of their circular file and wrote down your name in their UFO reporting center, gave me your phone number and your post office box and stuff like that.
Oh, great.
So I have that, and I tried to get a hold of Carol Watson, who I know is associated with APRO here in Oregon someplace. He's down in Medford. So I can't call APRO here in Oregon, so I did the next best thing, called you.
Well, I'm sure glad you did. It sounds like it would be worth the trip down there.
Well, it sounds to me like they're flapping around quite a bit. He says, well, come on back tonight. He says, bring a good pair of glasses. He says, you'll see them.
Oh, that's great. We're going to have to contact that gentleman.
Well, you got all the dope on him.
Yes, sir.
And he's at the point right now where what he has said, nobody believes him, so he's trying to keep his mouth shut. And I told him that Mr. will probably get in touch with him, probably even tonight. And because I thought of Shady Cove, Oregon, I'd never heard of it. I lived, born and raised in Oregon. I thought, well, if that's in Salem like I thought it was, why Watson would be coming up tonight to make an investigation. But she's all on your hands now. Are you the bunch that started up here a few years ago and published in the paper?
Yes, we were.
Yeah, I read of you.
Yeah,
Time, if I remember right.
Right. We were.
Monitoreal.
I went the other way. I joined Carol and Jim Lawrence.
It's a fine organization.
I'm a member of APRO.
Association.
Well, they're doing a beautiful job.
Got a nice, very.
Este es un...
Not so long ago. I suppose you read it by now.
Yes, I think I have read all of their books.
This is just published, I think, in February.
Party can with Laney.
Are you mono?
Converter. Anything like every time in the box. Just listen. Box open.
Can you believe...
And this. Hey. Here is our. Good. My let's
or any sort of object in the sky that's flying, or even at all. All I saw was lots shooting sort of light in different directions, wide and red. And it was... I didn't even know it was there. I thought it was my imagination. But I saw it out of the corner of my eye, then directly focused on it. It was just in the sky. Watched it happen for about 3 seconds, which is quite a long time. And then wrote it off as my imagination because I didn't see anything, any source, no UFO, no nothing, just the light shooting in the sky. And then my friend told me that they had UFO reports somewhere in Deming, I think it was yesterday, was shooting star-type light, which that would sort of have a description similar to what I saw.
Now, was this during the daytime?
At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, approximately 2 o'clock, give or take, 15 minutes either way.
Now, when you say shooting light, do you mean streaking across the sky?
Exactly, yeah.
And what part of the sky would this be in?
I was on Lake Alcott Beach, and just noticed it out of the corner of my eye, and then watched it directly. It was just above, it was like over the water, but I didn't see any flying saucer or anything. But it was in every direction. It wasn't simply, in one central direction. It was all over the place. I mean, it was crazy.
Would this be right out over the Elliott Bay?
I don't know where Elliott Bay is. I'm really not a native.
In other words, you weren't facing Vashon Island, which is across the water.
Excuse me?
You weren't facing west, you were facing more to the north.
I was on the beach, and it was, well, I suppose I was, facing sort of north, right,
Okay, that'd be out over Elliott Bay.
Right. You didn't have any sightings over there yesterday, then?
No, we didn't.
What about this thing in Deming?
Where?
In Deming, Washington. Did you hear about a UFO thing yesterday?
Denny?
Deming, I think it is.
No, that's new to us.
You didn't hear, did you have any reports yesterday?
No, not a thing.
But my friend said that she heard it on the radio, the UFO report, and described it as what I saw as shooting light.
No, we haven't had a darn thing here.
Well, see, this to me, when I was very young, and this was back in the 60s, I had seen flying saucers, but it was simple. I mean, it was nothing. It was silver, and it was moving across the sky. Now I can relate to that,
Right.
as far as flying in many directions, very far stretch. That's a little different.
Was this a white light?
Yeah, very white. Now it was a bright day yesterday.
Right.
And, sunshine out, blue sky, and it was bright, and this light was extremely illuminated, even during the brightness of the day.
Now this was a streak of light, or
Not one streak, many streaks at one time, and all over the sky, exactly. And in very different directions, and widespread. And they were just...
size at all?
Gee whiz, sir, I don't know. It was pretty big. It was pretty big. From the altitude, I would say, Jesus, at least a couple hundred feet anyway, diameter.
Okay.
But it was definitely not atmospheric phenomena because we've been trained for that stuff. All right. Hold on just a minute. That was my service. Can you stand by one, please? Thank you. So anyway, that's fine, sir.
Okay. Do you know what the date of that is then?
No, sir. I don't know exactly. I can say it. I just happened to see this letter that they sent to the chief here. And I'm not sure what the hell it was.
And you're going to Alaska?
Yeah. At least I see them there when I
Well, we appreciate hearing from you if you get anything up there.
Okay, sure, will.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
All right, bye. That's it.
Yeah, where's this located?
Washington.
Washington, D.C.?
No, state.
Oh, I was going to say, whoa. You're not going to believe this, or maybe you are. This is definitely from the sheriff's office in San Diego, California.
Yes.
And if I'd have seen it myself, I think I was just flipping out and I would have quit. But I had two witnesses with me. And we just saw a couple of things that none of us can explain. Our business office heard us talking about it on the radio, and they said we ought to call you.
Okay, I'd like to hear about it.
Well,
Can you talk from that phone?
oh yeah.
Okay.
They were kind of cylindrical in shape. I mean, you know, they look kind of like maybe a cigar that was fat in the middle.
Yes.
They kind of tapered at each end.
Uh-huh.
And it had a real bright, extremely bright, white light right in the middle of it. And it had rings on each end. It looked like black ring, like, you know, like the rings around the planet Saturn or whatever it is. It had rings. Okay, it looked like it had a couple of them on the end. And then the first one I saw a plane crashing. We were in a remote area on top of a mountain, and dark all around it. You know, there's no other lights or obstructions or anything. And we were out there checking a stolen car, and I looked at this thing, and I thought a plane was almost called a business office, but it was a plane crashing because it had extremely bright, just bright, red, flashing. I don't know what it was, lights or letting off gaseous fumes or what, but it looked like it was on fire. You know, it was just bright, and it wasn't that far away from us. And then I realized it was hovering, just hovering. And that continued for 2 or 3 minutes, and then the extremely red stuff died down, and then we saw all sorts of flashing red, blue, green, and what other color? And white and orange, but the white was just a steady white coming right out of the middle, continuing to glow, and all these other lights were flashing around it. And we got the binoculars out, and we're looking at the thing through that, and it just continued to hover there for about 5 minutes. And then all at once, it just shut everything down except the continuous glowing white, and it just took off, and I took off. I'd never seen anything disappear so fast in my life. And
Which direction?
It went west.
Okay.
Toward the ocean, and it continued to gain altitude. And I was watching it through the binoculars, and I could see it extremely well when we first observed it. And I'd say probably the complete time it took it to disappear from sight through a pair of 8x50 binoculars was a total of maybe 12 seconds at the most. I mean, it was gone. It just took off and it was gone. So I called this other guy we were talking about it. We called my beat partner on the radio, and I asked him if he happened to see it, and he didn't. And approximately 5 minutes later, I observed a second one doing the same thing. This one was quite a bit further away. It was over what we call Mount Woodson area. And he could observe this one, and this one continued to hover at quite an extreme altitude with the same thing, bright red, green, blue, orange, yellow flashing lights. everything down, just took off like a bat out of hell. And it only took it about 5 seconds. It was at such an altitude that I could not detect any sort of shape, like on this other one.
Yes.
I could not see the rings except for one that looked like both rings were on one side of it. But I mean, it was at such a distance away, it was kind of, much hazy through the binoculars. The only thing you could really tell for sure was that the extremely bright red, blue, and all these other lights. And I mean, it just hovered in one spot. We had a good point of reference. It was there was a bright star directly adjacent to it. It never wavered.
Okay, do you have any estimate size?
Oh man, I can tell you, the first one we saw, I would say was extremely large. But due to the altitude, I really couldn't get a reference point to tell, how close the thing was.
Right.
It could have been clear out over the ocean. But it looked like it was maybe a mile away and about the size of a football field. My partner agrees that it was big. But like I said, there's no telling how far away from us it was. And with all those flashing lights. But I think what we saw at first was some sort of fuel burning off or something, because it really looked, there was flames. It looked like a plane on fire going down. I mean, it just hovered dead still for a good 5 minutes at least. And we saw the first one at 7:45, and the second one, after that one disappeared, about 5 minutes later, we made it about 5:50. Still don't really believe it. I mean, it's kind of like I'm trying to talk myself out of my thoughts. Weird.
Right, were these fairly low?
The first one was very low. It looked like it was extremely low. The second one was pretty high altitude.
Okay.
The first one, it looked like it was, maybe 46. It was lower than that wood. Our elevation is about 15. So it looked like it was below the peak of the woods, so I guess 2,000. But there was also a third officer who saw the second one. And he was on his way to take a runaway report.
Let's see, that was 7:45 for the first one, that's 7:55 on the second one. Okay, that's great.
Yeah. Pretty good to send the guys in the white suits to pick you up.
No way.
Tomorrow. I ain't kidding you. If there hadn't been somebody with me and I'd seen that first one, I'd really thought I'd flipped out.
Okay, if we send you a questionnaire, would you take a little time to fill it out?
You bet.
It'd take about 30 minutes. It's
I've
quite
heard people
technical.
tell me about seeing things before, I thought, Well, I've seen a lot of civilian aircraft and military aircraft and Navy aircraft, and as far as I know, we ain't got nothing that can do that. And is equipped with that kind of lighting devices.
Was that light such, the brilliant white light such that it did any illumination of the sky?
No, I wouldn't say it actually illuminated the sky. It was just a steady, continuous, bright glow. And it didn't illuminate the ground or anything like that.
And that light stayed on?
That light was continuous. And the other one just kind of flashed and came on and would stay on for a bit and die down. And it's kind of hard to explain, really.
Okay.
Yeah, right. That's a good description. Like, have you ever seen one of these handheld, what they call sparklers? These kids hold these sparklers.
Sure.
That's what it looked like. A real continuous glow out of the middle and then all these other colors going around it.
Okay. Well, we sure appreciate this, and if we get any additional information on this case, why, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Okay.
In the meantime, we'll get that questionnaire off.
All right. I'd be happy to fill it out for you.
Thank you very much.
See you later.
Bye.
decided to change my going back to school. What? I decided to change my going back to school. Going back to change my decided to change my decided to change my going back to going back to change my decided to change my decided to change my decided to change my going back to decided to change my
20.
You've had experiences before.
Right. But they drummed it out of my mind because I wasn't ready to accept all that stuff yet. And now it's all coming back to me, you know, like my dreams or whatever. It's just all my dreams are coming back. And before, when I dreamt, I forgot my dreams just like other people do. And now all my dreams are, you know, they're all coming back to me, all the different things in my brain and everything. It's all being unfolded and all being released to me at once. It's like a computer.
Because you had a lot of interest in the subject before?
Oh, yeah, right. I read thousands of books on the subject, Uri Geller, and I can levitate things with my mind. And so can Uri Geller. And I know how it works, and everybody didn't believe him, but now I know how it works. And it is because of the what is known as an aura around your body. And the drugs, acid and crystal, acid breaks down that aura, but releases all that information to you. And that's why people freak out, because they can't handle that information. And this new drug that came out, crystal, accentuates your mind and your growth and your dreams. And it brings all this stuff out in the open, and people don't know how to handle it, so they freak out. But it makes your aura grow bigger, and it lets all it come in and learn more of a smooth fashion than acid does. Acid breaks down a chemical reaction in your system and destroys cells in your metabolism.
Okay. Well, we sure appreciate this call.
All right. And I'm sure that you'll look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, everybody. An experiment, had a few moments there, but we'll be back next week. Hope you enjoy. Have a good night.
Electricity around here, son.